I'm Will, he, him, and I play Moxie, she, her.
I'm Sarah, she, her, and I play Freya, she, her.
I'm Steve, he, him, and I play Aura, he, him.
I'm Imi, she, her, and I play Amaya, she, her.
I'm Mike, he, him, and I'm playing Eugene Bannatyne, he, him.
I'm Ruthie, she, they, and I play Sentinel/Jax, they, them.
I'm Charlie, he, him, and I'm your DM.
So, I don't have a suite, but in the spirit of Will wearing his NFL jersey, I do have a flag.
You may fly.
Fly your flag.
It's quite big.
You may fly your flag.
Good. Yeah. No, at least unravel it first.
We're not sponsored, by the way.
What, by Wembley? Keep going. This is so stupid. Do your intro.
Are you seriously gonna... Okay, no, it's fine. Go for it. I'm fine. Last time, you guys began an expedition and ended it in the same session. Yes?
No, I was gonna sneeze.
Oh. I was like, holy shit, I've already fucked up.
We did not.
I've said a single sentence and I fucked it up.
That was as soon as I was like, no, you need to stop because I'm about to sneeze. It was like, no, full stop.
Okay, so you guys were in Dustmere for a pretty long time. Actually, in game, it's probably more like, it was like about 3 weeks or something. But you left Dustmere probably as the only people, other than a select few nobles and sordid individuals, who actually know what really happened at the Desert Masqerade and have insights into what exactly was going on in Dustmere. But you left the city, some of you married, some of you wounded by past events and actions at the ball, some of you possibly wounded by very recent dodgy dealings. But you left Dustmere, hopefully a tighter-knit group, and you set sail with your good friend Florin on his really rickety old ship, which you assumed was called the Bad Luck Berry.
Barry.
Sorry.
Oh, you christened it the Bad Luck Barry?
No, we christened it the Barry.
Yeah.
Just the Barry. Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You painted over the...
Clayton was also there.
Barry bracket. Yeah.
What like Barry?
Barry, yeah, that was it. Merged.
Oh yeah, it was the Berry. Cool. He doesn't know that. So you arrive. So you set sail across up the western coast of the continent, and pretty much the whole journey you saw desert and wasteland slowly start peppering with a few more towns here and there. So you guys would have gone past Grisport, which Moxie you visited with your uncle, and there was Port Lorena, which both of you visited as well. And then things started getting unfamiliar for all of you, and you were seeing brown grasses, a few more civilizations tucked into nooks, and eventually you made your way to Delnori, which was a distance hard to see because it is built into the side of a cliff face. Hundreds of feet wide, the gap that leads into the inner bay, and on the outside of the city there are only a couple of areas that are visible. There's this slum on the left as you're moving in, or the left being the north, that spills out of the city, some of it sort of climbing up the outside of the left cliff face and then pooling on decking and boarding out into the sea, and then on the right side of the opening you have a dock that spreads further along, and there are buildings basically built up the side of this cliff. And Florin took you through this gap. So he passed the docks on the right, and he took the vessel, the Berry, through this massive opening, past smaller vessels, and into an area that looks like a key, and you can see on your right, as you've just gone through this opening in the cliff, a boardway that would take you from the docks that you've passed, bends around the right-hand sea wall into an area that looks like a big open square, a town, cobbles, and up ahead, past this sea wall that when you've gone past it, the right side has actually been cut away behind it. So this cliff hasn't actually got anything behind it other than 50 foot of rock. And then it's been cut away, and within that gap and rising up a ramp is the main part of the city, and you can see rooftops and cobbled streets, and then there's a large plateau at the far side with even more grand buildings on it in the distance. And as you make your way into this bay, this circular bay within the cliff, you see a man on the docks on one of the boardways, and he's waving you down, and he's like pointing back out and pointing back the way that you came. And Florin's like, looks like I might have been a bit overzealous. He starts basically making to turn around in the bay, and if none of you stop him, he turns the boat back out. You go back out of the city, and this guy is following you, looking very angry. They wear, or there's a couple of them. He joins up with them. They're wearing a black belted uniform with brass buttons on it. Then they wear these dark mauve sea cloaks, which are like rugged, and they have an extended part of fabric that comes out and loops over their shoulders and their face, a bit like a kind of loose scarf. And he's directing the boat back out to the quay that you guys just basically sailed past immediately. And if none of you stop him, you take them to this right-hand side of the opening, and he finds a jetty, an open jetty. He pulls it up, starts throwing ropes out to people on the side. A couple of dock hands grab the rope, start tying it up onto this dock. And as you're kind of pulling in those couple of minutes, you get a good look at the port that makes up the outside of this cliff. There's seagulls flying around. The smell of people is strong. There's moisture in the air. There's the smell of cooking meats off in the distance. There are animals, the noises of animals.
Can you make some of those animals?
What types of animals can we
That's
hear?
all of them.
So sheep.
I mean, it was a goat, but let's go with sheep.
Can I roll a perception check to see what animals I see?
You may.
Why does that cloud have legs?
You are well.
Oh no.
A 12.
You see a goat. You see a single goat.
But it's very loud and makes multiple noises.
Yeah. There's
Such as?
There's a guy with a cart, and he has a goat, and he looks like he's shouting at the goat.
What do you mean to the goat?
Oh, goat do.
You don't know. You just turned up. So the outside of this port. Christ.
No, the goat's going to be the big bad now.
That's alright, I've got a stealth of 5, I'll go nip the goat.
We do need to rescue this goat.
So the boat clunks onto the side of the jetty, and you look out. There's this many-pronged jetties along from you. There's platforms and balustrades, ropes as thick as people's legs, looped around some of these areas. Some of them winding around other large vessels. Most of the other vessels here they're company-owned. They're merchant ships. Some of them are quite long, shallow passenger vessels. And they've got kind of curling wood flourishes at the bow. There are also a couple of dark vessels that have been painted. They're thickly boarded. They have this kind of odd appearance of looking both opulent and made up of salvaged parts almost. They've got large ballistas on the top deck. Some of these dark ones, yes.
Don't know what a ballista
It's
is.
like a big crossbow.
Oh, okay, cool, thanks.
A really, really big crossbow.
A really big one, yeah.
Like two-handed.
And most people seem to avoid these boats. There's only a couple of them. People on the dock kind of give them a wide berth. The largest of the vessels that you in the few minutes that you're moving in, the largest are anchored further out to sea, and you can see one of them being particularly large. You kind of see mists blurring its form a bit on the horizon. The docks up the outer cliff wall are towering stone and wooden buildings. They've got flapping shades of canvas, small stalls either side of them. There are traders there, dockyards that have been built vertically up the cliff, basically packing as many of these into the one place as possible. They've got rope lifts. You can see someone pulling a load of boxes up from the outside with one of these rope lifts, and then storing boxes and barrels. And as you guys look over the side, there's a constable standing there. There's two of them.
There's a what? Sorry.
Constable. There is a constable standing there.
So what?
I'm not saying
One more time.
they've
It's
got
just,
that.
it just sounds very U rather than O.
Yeah.
That's how I
We've
say
not
it.
met him yet.
You haven't. He's got another guy with him. They're wearing these mauve sea cloaks, and on their shoulders they have a symbol, which is like a long-bladed spear, like a glaive, and within the blade of that spear is an open eye.
Well, that's creepy. Hello.
You just said that.
And they're like, one of them looks at you, mutters to the other one. Florin goes over to Sentinel and he's like, you got the papers?
Oh yeah, I made them last time.
Okay, just,
Chill out.
I've never done this before. So.
I'm going to lean over the side and be like, can we help you?
They look up at you and then they start talking amongst each other, and one of them waves you down.
I wave back.
Just give
I'm
you an
gonna-
old look.
Jump over the side onto the...
It's quite far down.
Can I jump it?
You could, you might break something. It's about 15 feet.
You break the door.
It'd be cool though if
It'll
you
be fine.
succeed.
You can do it. Roll an acrobatics check.
Can I do athletics?
Yeah.
That's a 17,
Okay, yeah. You land, how do you land?
like Spider-Man.
So you vault the side of the
Legs to the side, hand in the middle, like...
You vault the taffrail and you land like Spider-Man thunk, on the dock.
Yeah.
And the jetty itself kind of wobbles a little bit. And the two guys, like one of them puts his hand under his cloak, looks at the other one. You the captain?
No, I just thought I'd come down to see what we needed to do.
We need to see your papers. That's what we were for.
Okay. Sentinel!
Stick my head over. Oh yeah?
Do you have the papers?
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna climb down really like sheepishly, and I'm sort of putting on that of a bumbling captain who does
Okay.
not know what they're doing.
Roll a performance check for me. As you bumble your way over to these two constables.
That's not bad. That's what was that, performance? Can I not do persuasion, please?
You're kind of putting on a show.
Fine,
So
it's still a 15.
okay.
Just would have been an 18.
Sure. So you make your way onto the dock. They look at you. They don't seem to give much away. One of them's a little shorter than the other, with darker skin. They both got kind of burned and crispy ridges on their nose from the sun.
Can I see if one of them is more senior than the other? Like,
Yes, one of them looks a little bit more. Obviously, you're not familiar with the kind of
so
decorations.
just like based off
Yeah.
their mannerisms.
One of them has. One of them, the shorter one, has slightly more buttons.
As we all know, the sign of a man.
Yeah, and he does have an aigulette under his arm. He looks a little bit more imposing. Stands forward.
I pass the papers to the other one.
Okay. He kind of looks at them. The other guy goes to take them, and then the more senior one looks at him, and he takes his hand away, and then the senior guy takes them.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
We've had a really long trip, so...
Everyone does it. He looks through it.
All right. Just trying to make conversation.
Just trying to do my job. Okay, so we're gonna have to inspect some of this cargo. This is not usual paperwork, but it will do. And he hands it back to you.
I'm sorry. It was absolutely useless guy out of Dustmere. Poor. He had no idea what he was doing. He just technically drew.
Roll a persuasion.
Oh, I hear this conversation.
That's
Yeah.
a nat 17 plus 7, so 24.
Okay.
Are these the people we give the wood to?
They might be that. Do we need to give the wood to you?
You can roll again if you like for your advantage.
We'll stick
We've
with
got
the,
loads
we'll
of
stick
wood
with
to
the
give
24.
you.
We'll stick with that. A cool 24.
We don't take the wood, but we will be just checking that everything is in order. I do understand that Dustmere is a bit of a shithole. We do deal with.
I kind of see just a little bit. It's like.
Yeah, and he's like, he points to the other guy. Tom, you get in there, and the lanky guy's like,
I'm gonna go.
Oh,
Follow
sir.
me, Tom.
thank you. He follows you.
I'll climb up this time. I'm not gonna try and jump.
You go,
50.
Jean. Yeah, he climbs up.
All the stuff's
All right.
on point to wherever it is.
Okay, yeah, you guys can show him round. What is the paperwork real? Like, is it truly representative of the stuff that you got in Dustmere? I think.
So it's not of everything that we got in Dustmere because we were keeping some of it. 'Cause,
Yeah.
but they could easily, the stuff we were keeping could easily have been supplies. Because it was 2 barrels of rum, which
Yeah.
drank.
Yeah.
That's gone now.
It's 10 jars of fish, one of which is probably now owned by Clayton.
He's made of them.
And the rest of it could very easily just be supplies for a ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 bags of pigment powder, but one of those bags of pigment powder is in the subtle house because that's for my wife.
Oh yeah. Also, you did use more to paint the ship, I think, as well.
Did we? You
I think,
did.
like painting over the name and
So,
stuff.
so is that 1 bag of pigment
Probably.
powder? Fine,
Probably
that's
less.
fine.
He looks
We would
around.
have
He's
known
like,
that.
We would have known that, and I would have because by the time I wrote the paperwork, it would have been
How much? Like in terms of weight? What was the wood?
300 pounds.
That's right. Yeah.
Timber and a spare sail that is.
That's
also
not much
supplies.
timber. He's like on his vessel. He's like, you guys made a long journey for this. He's looking at the timber.
Is this not?
Looks at the paperwork.
Is this?
We knew.
I'm really sorry. This is not.
Oh no, please don't. Oh god.
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
go over to Sentinel, put my arms around them, and be like, "It's alright, it's alright, it's alright."
This is my first trip. They trusted me to do this, and I think
No, it's fine.
they paid us for it. They said that you guys would pay us for it.
Oh god, no, we don't pay. No, oh my god, that's okay. I'm gonna go and speak to the captain because
We're very new to this. It's been.
It's the first trip over the door.
okay. All right, and he like backs out from under the deck and he's like up the ladder like I'm gonna. And he like goes out.
It's our first day.
I just fist bump Maya. Yeah.
It's like you can. Those of you on the deck, you can hear him talking with the captain. He's like, they don't know what they're doing. They're gonna make nothing from this. Cost of supplies. He'd like talking about that. And then when you go, I guess the captain would come back. He'd give you the papers back. He's like,
Thank you.
good luck. Welcome to Delnori, I guess. Walks off. Florin's like,
I was like,
well, that went well.
done.
I know.
Well, I, for one, am very confused.
I knew we should have kept that other jar of fish.
Wait, we got to give the fish away?
No,
It's alright, Clayton.
Clayton, we made sure there was at least a jar of pickled fish for you.
Cool.
It's fun.
It's not as good as the smoked stuff, but it'll do.
That's your sole payment for this journey. We're just gonna.
I didn't even know we're getting paid, so I'm taking that. Okay.
Should we get off the ship?
Cabin?
What are you guys doing?
What time of day is it?
It is probably mid-afternoon at this point. It is still hot here. It is just a humid heat.
That's even worse.
So wet.
Yeah.
We should find the city sightseeing bus.
Well, if you roll a perception
Maybe they
check.
have like one of those little trains that goes on roads.
Those of you looking for a mini tour train, roll a perception check.
That is a 23.
1 second.
See if you beat it.
15.
Okay.
Can I do a slightly different perception check that is to look to see if any of the ships near us might need some wood?
You may.
I'm looking for a tram to annoy Will.
Oh! That was very nearly a 1. But that is for perception for that. Oh god, where is it? That's an 18.
Okay. No one like calling out for wood, right? But you imagine that with the amount of storage space nearby, you could probably flog it to either one of the storage places or
Done.
Something like that.
Just walk around.
Tour bus.
Aura does not. You do not see a tour bus. You see a couple of like carriages. You're looking out. There's no trams. Freya, you see similarly. There's no trams. No tour buses. But you do see
Man with no
There is a man. He does not have an umbrella.
Has he got one of those red like uniform jumpers on?
No, he's got a
See Delnori.
he's got like a dirty once white linen like robe. And it's like covering a jumper. He's
Is it like
a
a little fisherman's jumper.
yeah. He's a dwarf, but very thin and reedy looking.
Yeah.
And he's walking around. And you see him Freya at another ship, and they basically shoo him off. And he comes towards you, and he's like, and he opens his arms, and he's got like this little flourish to him, and he's like, "Hello there, travellers to Delnori. Are you seeking a guide for this wonderful city?"
Are we?
Wonderful.
Well, now we need to sell the word, or
I can point you right away to the perfect place to sell it.
Great. What are the sights of Delnori then?
Well, you will soon find out.
Is this a walking tour?
It will be, yes.
is this guy a prick? Is he gonna like
Roll
set me up?
inside.
Thank you. What's the vibe
got-
of this
Are there
guy?
any trams here?
That's not bad. This is 13.
He just ignores that and carries on with his positivity. 13, he's just got a very slimy, salesy vibe about him.
How does Aura not know what owls or sheep are, but knows what a tram is?
He doesn't know what a tram is, there's no trams.
Selective memory.
Oh, a backstory.
May
how
I
Aura died.
come
By a
aboard,
tram.
or are you disembarking, or...?
No, you stay where you are. Are we getting off?
We can get off. Have we done everything we need to do?
I guess we need to find somewhere to set up shop.
Yeah. Flora, you stay there.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not, that's Clayton.
Yep.
It's Clayton. Clayton, are you staying here?
Y'all do your thing, I'm gonna stay here. This is my place, my safe place.
It looks
As-
a bit Rixy still. Might not be that safe.
Mate, why don't you use some of the wood to make a chair?
Oh, that's
And a
good for
desk.
you, you know. It's all the rage, standing desks.
As we're getting off, can I just? I'm assuming Clayton's coming with us.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I guess so. He hasn't said it otherwise.
As we're coming down, can I just shout to Clayton? Clayton, could you just ask Florian if he needs us to pick up anything in town, please?
I mean, Florian can hear you, to be fair.
But that's not what we're trying to achieve.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, then Clayton's as confused as I am. Yeah, he looks over, he's like, did you hear that? He's like,
That was
That
not
was-
a place.
it's so difficult. I'll be glad when they're apart.
It's almost like that's
Did you hear that? And Florian's like, yep.
That'll do.
Oh, Clayton, what's the answer?
Florian looks at Clayton, and Clayton looks at Florian, he's like, I don't know, get some ale, maybe some food. You guys not coming back to the ship?
I mean,
I can't hear him. I'm further down than Clayton. Clayton's going to tell you that.
You're arseholes.
I was wondering how long it would take me to work out the game.
This is, are you guys not coming back to the ship?
Oh no, probably will.
We are. I thought
I
we were
don't
going
know.
to an inn.
Well, I'm coming back, so I need to talk to Florian before he
Yeah.
decides what the fuck else he's doing.
And I thought we needed to also sell the wood and stuff.
Yeah, I need
can
somewhere
you-
to do that.
Can you let Florin know that we'll be coming back? Maybe this evening?
Oh, I want to stay at. I mean, okay.
We
Well, I
can
want some
still
food.
stay in an inn. It's more that we're coming back to
Yeah.
do some admin.
Oh right, yeah.
We're not
okay.
staying on the
He
ship,
goes up and
dude.
tells him.
Specifically, what's he
Can
saying?
I roll perception to see if I hear?
You hear a conversation
This
between
is
the
why
two
you
of them.
don't miss my dinner
Clayton's
parties.
like, they're acting strange. Basically, we're going to turn up later with maybe some food. They're going to do a little bit of admin, and Florian's like, okay. I mean, I'm going to stay here. And Clayton's like, yeah. I mean, I know. I don't care.
And now let them kiss.
They do like the Viking handshake.
I'm still
The
on the ship.
Predator.
Captain, you don't Does this vessel perhaps have some sort of emergency slide to disembark on?
My good friend Eugene, you've been on this ship for about 5 days. Have you seen a
But
slide?
no, I haven't. But I wondered if you maybe stowed it away somewhere.
Another great use for all the timber.
You guys don't have to come back to the ship.
Clayton, have you seen a slide?
Clayton walks off the ship, climbs down.
He doesn't even climb down, he just walks on.
I'm just not on the other side.
I'm just not great with ladders. I usually slip and, you know.
I can help. Just get off the fucking ship.
Do you think Charlie's annoyed with us?
So the sightseeing tour.
Yeah, this guy's just been on the fucking dock, like, how have they made it here? And you hear him talking about low prices.
Oh,
There we go.
How low is the low price?
Well,
A jar of pickled fish.
What was that, sorry?
A jar of pickled fish.
No, I'm afraid not. But I can show you where to sell your pickled fish.
we're not selling the pickled fish. Clayton will kill me.
It's true.
Very well. Well, I offer premium services, so... well,
So it's like fully rolls their eyes at that. Jesus Christ.
please, you may shop around for a tour guide. I offer my services starting at 20 gold.
Yeah, for the lot,
Is
right?
that per person?
No, that's for the lot.
For the day?
Yes, no, for my cost is 20 gold for the group.
Oh, right, okay, that's... Jesus, but at least that's a lot.
Oh, I could have got and he starts counting you. 140 gold off of you.
Yeah, that's a shame, innit, mate? Should have thought about that.
Oh, if I knew you'd made
Terrible
money. You
salesman.
should get a better ship if you have this kind of gold.
Oh, we do have lots of
How
money.
dare
yes.
you? Is this really...
Are you okay? He looks at Eugene for a moment.
Is this really how you get your business, by insulting people?
Oh, no, just making conversation. My name is, pleasantries aside, my name is Idid Malgor. He rubs his fingers
One more time.
Idid Malgor.
Oh, okay.
But you can call me Idid. Or Mr. Malgor.
So which one?
Whichever you prefer.
You read Mr. Malgor?
Why not? I take half payment up front. I promise you I am very knowledgeable in all things Delnori.
Maybe we should, have some sort of test to...
I was just thinking that.
How well does he know Delnori?
What's your best fact about the city?
My best fact? What kind of fact do you like?
Just your favourite fact.
My favourite fact? Well, there is a ban for some time on mining into the cliffs to build ever since, several accidents, shall we say. But if you look carefully, especially in Chasm Town, there are some places which have dug a little deep into the cliff, so if I were you, I would keep your eye out on those places and maybe best avoid going too far inside.
I cast message to Eugene and go, I'm sorry, that was a shit fact.
Building regulations was his best fact.
I thought Eugene would like that.
I really like that. Seems legit to Eugene.
Is there... From the ships that are near us, is there anyone who looks like they've come in, they're like a frequent...
Any frequent flyers?
Any frequent flyers, or is there anyone still on the docks who looks like they live here?
Yes, I mean, to be fair, in terms of, it'd be hard to say frequent, flyers,
Yeah.
but there are, established businesses, there are people talking to them. There is the guy with the goat who's been slowly making his way along the dock.
Hey, goat!
Stop it.
And he's
Maybe we should
near
ask the car.
He's this old, crotchety looking out half-elf. Hey!
Is this guy a con artist?
Are you?
I'm also shouting this to the
He
general
starts coming towards
area.
you guys, pulling the goat by its there's a little rope around its neck. Yeah, come here! Starts moving over the wheels of his car on the boards, chug chug.
That was a
Chug, chug.
mistake.
Should we speak to the car? Just look around.
This is
like
an
being a
example
car?
of one of our fine sellers, or maybe not the finest, as you walk.
Rude!
As he says that, the guy arrives like, "Yeah, it's an apparition!
I'll have an apple.
Yes.
What?
I'll have an apple.
Oh, how many do you want?
One.
Okay.
We'll
I hand over
more than
silver.
one.
Oh my god.
I hand over a silver and then I hand the apple.
Amaya,
Thanks, Amaya.
if we're doing a study, we need more than one test to be sure. We'll take 6.
The guy's like, 6 silver.
Yeah, I can.
It's an additional
Holds out a
5.
trembling hand. And for those of you who are from the
75 is a big
Empire,
one.
a silver for an apple is extremely expensive. She holds out,
I'm not paying
shaking
for
his
this
hand.
apple.
Taking the 6, counts them. Take what you want. 6 though.
Can I start stroking the goat?
Yeah.
Message Amigo, can you get the goat?
Okay, roll an animal handling check.
Oh no. Is it a grumpy as fuck goat or something? Animal handling is
He's
not
like
good.
looking at the silver in his hand while you're patting the goat.
17.
Okay, you know it's about to bite you, and you move your hand away and it goes and tries to bite you.
Could I give one of the apples to the goat?
Yes, it tries to bite your hand as you go.
Not the apple.
It eats the apple, then it's like it goes to munch your hand as well.
She don't love it.
Don't touch him. He's
Sorry.
a bastard.
That's not a very nice name for a goat.
Don't name the goats. And he walks off.
He's a bastard.
We don't all sell apples around here.
See, if I
Your mum
might,
sells apples though, right?
he's like stroking his hand. And he's like, if I might interject, that was an extremely expensive apple.
But it's a
it.
great prank.
It was worth it, mate.
In future, maybe ask me if they're stunning you or not, and that's one thing that I can help you with. The 20 gold.
I was
Is
trying
he
to.
being truthful?
I was trying to
Inside
find
joke.
out if any, like, when I shouted to anyone.
Oh, you did. Sorry, I had it away.
Is he a con eye?
Yeah. So before we'll go back, the guy's like squints at him and he's like, "Everyone's a fucking con artist right here."
I trust this guy more than the other one.
He just conned you, so.
I got 22.
But you can roll insight on Iriad as well if you like.
Yay, thank you.
A 22 on insight.
Yeah. I'm not going to be that good, that's an 11. I did also roll for vibes earlier and that was a 14.
Yeah, you get the same salesy vibe from him. Not necessarily that he's lying, just got that sliminess about him. For the 24,
22.
22, you believe that he's going to be, like, he'll be helpful to the point of he'll taking you to locations, telling you about the basics. But whether or not it's going to be worth 20 gold is up to you guys.
I'll give you 12 gold.
We could try and find Drummond.
Roll a
I'm
persuasion
sure
check.
he knows where the taverns are.
We've also got to work out where Drummond is, because that's
He's in one of the taverns.
just us pointing, like, message, just everyone who has messages going, Drummond! Drummond!
13.
Okay. I can see that you're not as silly as maybe I first assumed that payment of the
I've
the
eaten an apple.
I could do 18.
You could do 15 in a jar of pickled fish.
Oh, persuasion.
21.
Done. But I'll take the 10 up front and the fish.
It's fine. Clayton!
Oh. Takes it out.
There's more shells on the boat! I just can't be bothered to make you go up
It's
again.
alright, I'm a little sick of them anyway.
How big are these jars?
They're like, you know, I'd say like a couple of litres.
Oh, it's giant.
Oh, also, kind of as a point of order, so we got 50 gold off the skimming off the top. We can't split 50 gold between us and Clayton and Florin, so I was thinking that the most sensible option would just be to use that 50 gold to do things like this and buy the tavern.
Yeah.
Buy the tavern, yes.
I'm sure we could buy a tavern for now 35 gold.
So are you paying for the 10 then?
Out of this, okay. out of our fun part.
Irid takes it. He
So he's
secrets it
taking
away.
10 now.
Yeah, he secrets away in a little pouch. And
Probably not.
what was that?
thinking about trying something.
Don't upset the guide yet.
We'll wait until the end. Then
Also, to give you guys the perspective, there's quite a few people. You're on a very narrow. So your jetty that you're having this conversation on, it goes along the length of the ship.
I'm not going to murder him.
No, I know. I'm just giving you some perspective. So you guys are well in the shade of, or actually no, the sun's beating down on your backs, but the cliff rises really high up, like a couple of 100 feet, and then the jetty at the base of it is not very wide. It's probably about 20, 30 feet wide. And then up against the cliffside, you've got these tall buildings, like storage units. And so there's a fair few people, walking along the narrow boardwalk. Thank you. Puts it away in his cloak. Where would we like to begin? I could take you, well, do you have somewhere to be, or shall I...
We would like the historic tour.
Can you very quickly point out, the best place to sell some timber and paint?
Of course.
Very quick.
He moves quickly over to one of the storage units. It's like a rickety, cube wood building on top of another kind of off-center cube wood building on top of another one that's a bit off-center. It just goes up like that. And there's a guy on a pulley halfway, and he's like, "How much?" And he looks over at you, and I guess you say 300 pounds of wood.
So £300 is not the currency of
No.
the
Do I need to check
Charles.
this? I'm not going to have the fucking price of timber.
You should have known.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Plenty of time
I am
to
so
prep.
sorry, guys. Wow.
And
let me
also
check.
paint.
And the paint as well.
And the pickled fish, just in case we desperate.
Yeah, just that's how much would you take the pickled fish for? Right, we're down. How many pickled fish jars will we have eaten on the ship?
Okay, it's pretty decent wood. It's been cut straight. It looks all right. I would say for £300, how many for the physicist money? How many like bits of timber is that? It's probably
For
not
the
that much.
physicists among us, I think you mean the Google.
Well,
It's probably
I've
probably only
Googled
like
it,
4 or 5.
and someone on a forum reckons about 10 gold per ton.
No, I was going to suggest more than that, but
But you would have to convert your pounds to tons.
no, there's in the weight pounds, £300 in a weight.
So
Yeah, I know, but that was per ton.
Oh right,
10
yeah.
gold a ton.
What is
so an average,
25.
it's like an average 2x4, 8-foot board weighs 9 pounds. So,
This totally
So
stays
you
in.
you got about
so,
300. You got 30.
so you got 30. You got about 32 by 4.
Yeah.
So little.
It's really
This is a 5-day trip. To be fair, you are going to just come with nothing.
This
so-
Reddit
You're
reckons about
welcome,
25, 30 gold.
frankly.
I was going to suggest.
And a sail.
I was going to suggest a gold a plank. So
So 32 gold.
yeah,
That's about what Reddit says.
Hey, that pays for the tour.
yeah. So that conversation happens.
And also for the paint.
They
Back to
throw
Reddit.
that in for a gold.
A gold.
What gold?
Yeah,
You
fine.
negotiate. All right, roll persuasion.
This is paint, way
This
more.
is paint.
Yeah.
It's pigment
You could-
powder.
you-
Which persuasion?
You could paint multiple planks.
22.
Because different pigments can cost
Did I tell
different
you how much what
amounts.
the colour was? You're right, they would. Did I tell you what the colour was?
You told me there was different, it was lots of different bags. It was like a big thing of lots of different things of pigment powder.
Yeah, and that's what you're selling.
Yeah. One of those.
Okay, which colour are you going to sell? Let's say that you've got 5 colours. You've got.
Is there
Wait,
any,
hold
is there
on.
any purple in there?
Purple or blue, yeah.
You
So
could
we
made
will have
some.
used the most boring colour on
The berry.
Purple is more expensive.
so we'll have used the most boring colour on the boat. I'll
Like
have
a
taken a
beige.
selection for my wife. Whatever's left.
Okay.
So there's probably some of purple, some of other shit.
Blue.
I also
Yellow.
got a cool
Okay, so let's
22.
say 22. And let's say you took them over, they have a look at the paints and the pigments, dips his finger in it.
They're very good quality.
Is this like powder paint we had at school?
Yeah, basically, it's pigment paint, yeah, like pigment powder that you had solvents and oils on the ship that you were using them with. He's like, could do you 25 gold.
Just for them. You were gonna give me one.
I thought, to be fair, I thought you were giving him 1 pouch of paint. Yeah. And looking at this, I think, yeah.
20,
that's a
so
good point.
25 plus the 30.
55. Oh, 32 was it?
32.
Yes, that's
35!
two
Call
kinds
it
of wood.
35. Call it cool 35. So that's a cool 60 for the lot.
Wipes it on his jacket, like, Dale,
That was quite easy.
There you go.
Right.
You make gold.
How about
You can make
30
gold
duck?
selling stuff in D&D, by the way.
Moving on.
You
we
are
made
very
110
well.
gold when we were going to come here with nothing.
You scanned the place, got a bit of money.
Yeah, I did.
And then we probably got
How
some.
far away from the boat are we at this point?
Not far. You're like at the cellar that he's taking you to is just in front of it, so 30 feet away from the bow.
And I'm just gonna message Flora and be like, babes, this is where we're selling the lumber. See, I was gonna say limber. This is where we're selling the timber to. Crack on.
Fine by me. I'm asleep now.
Good night, sweet prince.
Don't sound very asleep.
Okay, so Irid gathers you around like a teacher.
He's still there.
Oh, can I just say before you start, I'm following Moxie around with my notebook. Just waiting for clip-clop
To eat an apple.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You're not eating the apple yet.
No, I'll wait till lunch.
It's the afternoon, to be fair. It's mid-afternoon.
Okay, I'll wait till everyone else is having everyone else is eating their apples.
Let's see how you eat that.
Now, to check variables, I've tried to pick different apples. So I've got a green one and a red one, and a big one and a small one, just to see if the horse noises are perhaps,
Depending on size or colour.
Yeah.
Are these all for her?
Well, I had one.
Okay.
Oh no, I gave the goat one. Yeah.
Eugene, I love you and I'm going to protect you from this. You will get pranked. You're not high on her list of pranking right now. That's me. But after that,
on that ladder of
just
pranked.
don't trust any chairs for a while. It's going to be
So
fine.
make sure you speak to them first.
Make sure you just check, just maybe poke them before you sit on them to make sure they're not an illusion. She's done many
I have
things.
to watch my back. Oh no.
I mean, that'll also just be a funny prank, but if you're not up for it, just be
Well,
wary.
no, I do like a prank. I just the thought of knowing that a prank might happen at any given time.
I mean, welcome to my life. Welcome. Welcome.
That's one.
At least it's only one, not five. And she probably won't lock you out
I
of
just
tavern
realised
for
we
a week. That'll be
Had a
that.
missed opportunity trading wood for brick. Or wheat.
So you haven't got any wood. I'm gonna build a road.
Which do you want? Sheep or 65 gold?
We could have got the goat.
60 gold. I'd fully put 65 and it was just 60 gold. I was
Okay.
trying to rinse you for even more money.
Irid takes you along the dock.
Come on, this way.
Fuck's sake.
You move past some of the ships that you sailed past. There's the opulent meets salvaged ships that have been painted darker colours.
Did you say opulent meats?
Opulent, a combination
Opulent
of both
meets
opulent
thingy.
Yeah.
and but
Oh,
salvaged.
sorry, not opulent meat.
This is my beautiful ship, the opulent meat.
Who's the most famous person who's been in this dock?
In this dock, well, I'm probably the Emperor himself, several thousand years ago. He smiles back.
Who's the most famous person you've spoken to?
Oh, well, probably you know them, several nobles, I can assure you.
We know some. Tell us names.
Okay. He kind of seems a little bit taken aback by that.
Jax is smoking.
And did these nobles book you for your tour?
No, not for a long time. Maybe in my prime. But I have taken. Well, I don't like to brag. It's a little unseemly, but Crown Duke Taliesin himself has used my services once or twice before.
Anyone else?
Was that you trying to sell wood?
No, not at all. Anyway, as you can see, and he takes you around, you have not heard of that Duke. Maybe a couple of Empire people might have heard
I
of
just kind of like nod as in like, yeah, cut his hair once.
Guys.
I don't say that, but it's like that confidence of like, yeah, I know the guy.
Yeah, I painted his front door.
Bit of a day.
2 foot.
Our baby
forward,
size
2
kids.
forward.
Yeah, what we should call it.
Okay, you're taken along the edge of this boardwalk. The dock then bends around the cliff to the right as you enter Delnori proper through this massive opening in the cliff, and Irid Malgor calls it the sea gate. So the opening that's several hundred feet across that then goes into this bay within the cliff. He calls that the sea gate.
And how old would you say this rock is?
Well, it's said it was carved thousands of years before.
But geologically speaking.
Oh.
You licked the rock.
You'll have to speak to one of the members of the guilds. I'm sure that there's an expert.
I thought this sort of thing would be included in the tour.
We're paying premium prices. Surely you'd have this information.
The rocks are very old. He takes you through. You as it bends around the sea gate, and you go around the back of the cliff. It's actually, like I said, when you entered, it's about 50 feet thick, and the boardwalk itself is quite narrow, and there is a balustrade stopping people from hopping into the sea, or into the sea gate. But you're actually quite high up as well. It's propped up by beams that are literally driven down into the base of the cliff beneath you. As you move, you start smelling city smells, potent smells of liquor, of meats, of people and sweat and fumes and smoke.
Delicious.
And you move through the gate into the inner dock, and the opening the cliff. You bend round the side of it. This boardway wraps south behind the cliff. And you see it's a bit more of a professional affair this side, with smaller vessels that, as you come down from the boardwalk, there is another dock. There's smaller jetties, smaller vessels, and the furthest away as you get closer into the city itself, the docks themselves are reserved for what looks like kind of leisure vessels, rich people's boats they might take out into the bay and just pooling up the coast. You move, as you look up from those, with the seawall towering on your right, in finally entering the cool shade, you can see what Irid calls the Plaza, which is a sprawl of narrow streets under, like in the inside of the cliff, kind of built into it itself, like someone has dug out from the land and left the cliff wall up. And you see narrow streets. The buildings are made of wood-framed townhouses. There are businesses that line the sides of this vast square, which kind of takes up the centre of this space. There's a bandstand in the middle made of bent-shaped brass wire. There's a huge fountain that at a distance looks like a spiral of water with two figures standing atop it. And then deeper past the square, which is really nicely cobbled, you can see hawker markets so you're actually now facing south with the sea on your right, the sea wall on your right. And deeper past the square are markets. And then this market makes up a maze of tents, of wooden structures, and they kind of saturate the empty space at the base of a massive plateau that rises up. And on top of that are very opulent looking buildings. And there's a little space either side of it, like a ramp that goes up. But the main city itself is in the base beneath this raised plateau of these kind of more Victorian looking houses, and the centre is this square with a maze of
when
markets.
you say it's a hawker's market, do you mean like Singapore style? Is that a food market? It's a mix of that kind of stuff. So you can smell. You can if you walk with Irid into the Plaza Square, and then the other side of it takes you a few minutes, and you get there, and it is like a mix of people with shining leathers on stands, families that are selling small trinkets and crafts like decorated pincushions, swatches of cloth. There is people cooking strange, like massive pine cones that have been cut in half and they're being roasted. There's smoking fish. Clayton's like,
pine cone.
Yeah.
Is there like a picnic table somewhere? Like,
it's really narrow, so it's like as you go
Street
from the
food.
open square, you're like into
Street
this
food.
maze of tents.
Okay.
And you're like shoulder to shoulder people selling spices and anything that you can think of.
What I would like to do is, while everyone's getting their nice tour from what's his face,
I'm just gonna like run off, buy some street food, take a bite of it, run back and be like, everyone have a bite, and then run off and like get more stuff.
Amaya, remember where the group is? Amaya, don't get lost.
I can see your umbrella.
Okay, before you say you're going to run off, I will say that even Amaya knows that this could be quite easy to get lost in. But what are you going to do? It's literally like shoulder to shoulder, mate. Okay. Roll an investigation check.
Food.
You guys see Amaya just run off. And within moments, she's disappeared behind shoulders and tents.
Well, that's what message cantrips are. Oh.
11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amaya.
After a while of searching, you see some people that are selling, like, they're selling leathers, they're selling little silver trinkets that they've crafted out of wire. And you make your way past spices with massive buckets of spices and scoops. And
Can I
then
buy some spices?
you can.
Like a gold's worth of spices, please.
Sure. What? Any?
Selection.
Okay, sure. So a gold is probably not that much, but they can fill like some small little pouches.
Yeah.
So you've got like something that looks a bit like turmeric, a
I'll do
beetroot coloured.
two gold then, of like
Okay.
assorted spices.
Assorted spices. Cool.
Yeah.
Or Delnori spices.
Yeah.
Lovely. But your roll was a 12 looking for
11.
food. 11 looking
Yeah.
for food. Okay. You come across someone, the first food market you've seen, and it took you a while to find this, and you've kind of not sure how many turns you've taken at this point. And there's a kind of a dipped looking tent that's lost some of its trusses, and there's a guy in there, smoke kind of leaching out from the top. And he's just cooking what looks like rats on a stick on some raw coals.
Fuck you!
Hey, you never know, it might be a delicacy.
No, I know what he's talking about.
What?
It's that video you sent me. Let's say up another
Oh,
rat's leg for
I didn't
me.
know about that. I didn't think about that. It's not a rat leg.
I will cut that out.
It's got no.
No, please don't.
He's literally just got like they're just like spread rats, like butterflied rats.
Butterfly
It's
rat.
fine, I'll eat it. I just thought you'd take the piss.
And he's literally just there dusting something on it, like maybe some salt, pepper, and stuff, straight on the coals.
Does it smell good?
It smells good. It smells like cooking meat and spices, pepper, salt.
What's
Yeah. Hello. He's a terrifying looking.
Ollie is flexing his voice acting today.
Terrifying looking orc that smiles and his like really genuine crinkled eyes, but he just looks terrifying. He's
I'm
massive.
not scared.
Cool. Hello there.
Hey, you alright?
Yeah, you looking for some food?
I am actually. I'm
Oh,
intrigued by what you're doing.
It's a rat.
I know that like how you're cooking it. I'm not from around here, so I've not seen that before.
Oh, I'm using fire. I'm only pulling your leg. But no, we are. And he's like
Pirate's water.
sprinkling like something on it.
How? What are you sprinkling on it?
It's a blend.
Of.
Got salt, bit of pepper, some secret spices.
Cool, lovely.
Nothing dangerous, I promise.
I would hope so,
Sprinkles a bit
considering
more.
you're cooking over fire. So.
Yeah, and you do notice that when the spices and stuff hit the coals, they do smoke and spark. But it smells nice. There's cinnamon in there. Yeah. How many do you want?
How many like is one rat like one portion, or is it like two portions?
Depends how hungry you are.
Like medium hungry.
All right. And he gives you 2.
Cool. Can I get another 2, please? Because I want to find everyone so everyone can
4
have a
it
bite.
is.
Great. Thanks for sharing.
He puts them into what look like old brown leaves,
Yeah.
wraps them up,
How much
hands
is
them
that?
to you. He's like 2 silver.
Lovely. I hand it
Cheers,
over.
darling.
All right, love.
Starts putting another rat on it. Then when you look as you leave, you see that there's a cage in the back and there's just rats running around.
Fresh.
Fuck, I feel real bad now.
He goes off in the back and you go, no you don't.
I've only come to eating meat in D&D.
You roll
Go
real
straight for the rat.
Hey, you know exactly where it's come from.
It's true.
I'll say that I don't want you
get
to
that
lose the
from
group
us.
because it seems a bit shit. Unless you actually no, I mean you did run off.
I did- no, I said I ran
Roll
off.
an investigation check to try and make your way back. Irid's
That's a 12.
okay. Meanwhile, Irid's like, That's not what you do, all right? The maze markets change every day. It's very easy to get lost.
Hey, she's very smart.
Oh,
She'll
okay.
find her way back.
All right. She doesn't turn up.
I rolled a 12.
How
I
long
send
is it?
Zeal to go.
Okay, Zeal, roll investigation check.
What's Zeal's stats?
Have I not given you Zeal stats?
No.
I'll have to send them to you.
Let's
I've
just
got-
say it's a plus 10.
He got a natural 20!
Oh! Okay.
My boy!
So you rolled a 12, so I'd say, Amar's gone for 20 minutes and Irid's kind of getting annoyed, is standing around. And Zeal runs up one of the tents and he's like looking around. And with your 12
Yeah.
and his 20, he sees you. Oh shit, you can't hear him.
He can't talk.
He's like,
Can he
you
speak?
hear him going, food lady! And then he runs towards you. He makes his way to you,
Yeah.
jumps on you.
Oh, hi, Zeal. Would you like some rat? I just realised he's a squirrel.
He puts his glasses on his nose, jumps down.
I realise as I say it, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, please come back.
He looks up at you, and he just gestures like this to follow him with his paw, and make your way
It's
back.
not a squirrel.
Could you imagine?
So you follow the big blue squirrel with the little waistcoat through the crowds,
Yeah.
and make your way back to the group.
They say rat is squirrel of the city.
While all of this is happening, I've got my head on a swivel for 3 things. You said it was a pirate town, so just on the off chance, maybe Durana. Esquil. And also any wall that's like kind of covered in graffiti or anything that looks like, because I have an understanding of thieves' cant, that looks like there's quite a lot of thieves' cant on it. That looks like messages have been, like it's been used to pass messages on.
Sure. Okay. So you're going to keep an eye out. Your passive is 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see no shit.
Hey guys, I found a local delicacy.
Oh, that smells wonderful. What is it?
Zeal
Meat.
looks traumatized.
Oh, what kind?
Yeah, he is.
The small kind.
She's eating rat.
You don't hear.
But I don't. Does it look like, when I lift it? Does it look like a rat? Is it obviously a rat?
It's like a rat has been cut open and its arms are like out. Like
So it's
star.
really obvious to see it's rat.
Does it
Yes.
still have a tail?
No, the tail's cut off.
I thought you were a connoisseur of food. You seem to have bought butterflied rat there by the looks of it.
I thought it was a local delicacy. I'm now half considering going vegetarian.
Irid is like,
Fine, you have one. I hand him one.
No,
thank
you got. So I'll try it if you do.
You okay?
Hey,
We like.
You've just gone down to 14 gold.
Eugene and I like eat like a bite each.
it's all right. It's quite juicy. The spices are
It's
there.
good old juicy
Thank you
rat.
so much.
It's nice. It's got a bit of a charm in it.
I can't believe I'm asking this, Amaya, but can you have rat medium rare? Why has it got a little bit of pink in there? Is it like, obviously some meats you want to cook all the way through to certain temperatures and some meats you can have a little bit underdone. Is rat one of those?
Amaya wants to go back to the other place.
Kazel never looks so good.
I miss Kazel and Cactus.
Irid says, Irid eventually, as you guys walk through, he tells you that it's very easy to get lost in the maze market. There are a lot. This is the area of the city where the non-kind of merchants or mercantilo and the artisanos, they don't really operate out of here. There are some gems. There are some hidden gems and you can find them, but they change every day. So I have a specific nice little table here.
So you just sent me to like a random dude with some rats.
You rolled an 11.
Oh, thank you, Amaya. It was very kind of you to buy some food.
It's okay, I don't want to eat it again.
No, neither do I.
Do you want an apple?
Yeah, just enjoy some
Roll a
rat with my
roll a
apple.
Who ate some? You did. Both of you roll constitution. Saving throws.
Thank you.
I was considering it, but not anymore.
Glad I didn't.
21.
Oh no. That is a 11.
Just.
What
You get
were
a
you
bit
about
of
to get?
you get a bit of a funny tummy. You feel a couple of hours later, you're a bit like, oh god, rat's not sitting well.
In like D6 minutes, I have to run to the loo.
Or use some of that lay on hands to cure poison.
Yeah.
But
You made your decision.
Yeah.
But Irid, he explains that you can find some amazing stuff in there, but also you can find some scam artists. You can find some just people flogging shit, like
Literal shit.
yes. Unskilled crafts is one of the terms that he uses. But then he takes you along through to the edge of the plaza.
For a minute, I thought you were getting excited.
Which he calls the resident market. And the roads here are really narrow. Some of the narrowest are sort of 5 feet wide, and he takes you down one of the main ones. They're clearly not designed for carriages or anything like that. This is the Mercantilo and Artisano area. You can find premium sellers, craftspeople, food, distillers, brewers, metal, leatherworkers,
So
games
I bought a load of
makers.
shit spices.
Not necessarily, because your role's for food. So,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and I was kind of flavouring that, so, you know. And you would know
With
if it
some
was
shit
shit.
spices.
You'd know if you'd know if it was shit, so you're like,
Okay.
you can tell that's not bad. And these are kind of shambling alleyways, and within these, the cliff tops are still visible, kind of framing the sky, reminding you why the air is so cool in here, because it is really cool and pleasant.
Can I ask if I can find some sweets? Is there a sweet shop around here?
Yes. Not what I expected, but yes. And he takes you along. Let me just find something quick.
If you're looking at stuff, I'd also like to look for somewhere that sells alcohol to go.
Yeah.
So like bottles of wine rather than like just a
Ask
pub.
about the local wines in the area.
Winery, brewery.
Yeah.
Distillery.
You do see,
Nice.
you do go past a nice looking brewery. So it's not an inn, but it is a sort of cellar of craft brewed alcohol, be it wine, beer. They don't sell any spirits, but they sell ale by the barrel, wine by the bottle or by the barrel.
Not the box.
Do you want to do sweets first then?
Yeah. that was
I
what I
don't
saw.
mind. It sounds good too.
I'll list them both. That was the first one that I saw. So
What was that? What was
So
that
what
called?
have we got?
that one is called. That one's called the Seawater Works. And
And they do wine and ale, not spirits.
and it looks really nice. It's got a green painted front with the kind of bay windows, and they've got stacks of bottles wrapped in papers. It's a narrow shop. It looks really nice inside. It's just so cloistered. You can see through the window just barrels taking up loads of room. If you're going to go in, yeah, sure. So you go in this one first. It happens to be the first one you see, and the smell of the wood, the oak, the beer is grainy, but it smells clean. It looks clean, and there's a dwarf, a much more well-built, if not overly fed dwarf compared to Irid, and he's standing there and he's got these massive specs. Hello there.
He flexing today with the voice work.
So many people in this fucking team. What might it get you today then?
I'm just looking at every bottle.
Yeah, there is all sorts of stuff, like wine from mainly areas of Delnori, and he starts talking to you about how he's like, this one's grown down North Street on one of our lovely vertical farms of vineyards, and it's like a beautiful bottle. He opens one, pours a little taste, swishes it in their little wooden carved flutes that I've seen a little bit of wear and tear. Hands them to those of you who are interested.
Shot.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's cherries. It's the oak comes through. It's a very, very rich kind of flavour in wine, and it's strong.
I just want to get 2 local, like just nice, not necessarily top shelf, but like nice bottles of red, and some casks of ale. Do you do a delivery service? There's a boat that's like in the dark. Can we send you down with some ale?
I can do one for a little more than that if we did a barrel, but otherwise I'd have to charge you.
Yeah, well, I'll just carry it, but can I carry a barrel?
I can deliver a barrel.
Oh yeah, I'll deliver a barrel. Yeah, a barrel is fine. One to the berry. The berry.
They're quite big barrels, so he's got. Oh, you could get a smaller barrel.
Small barrel.
But the bottles.
Hey, Florin asked for ale.
Of ale. So it's not wine.
No,
shit.
I want 2
I was
normal
gonna say the big
bottles
barrels
of
are
wine.
fucking expensive.
Yeah, no, just 2 bottles of wine.
Okay, yeah.
And a barrel of ale.
So that's 20 gold for the wine.
For both.
For together, yeah.
Right.
10 gold.
Could I get one of the cherry wines?
Yeah, so 10 gold again. It's a fine wine. Lovely.
I'm gonna spend so much money in this fucking shop.
Yeah. So that's 20.
We're going to be breaking coilstones again.
So I have to get Irid to show us some places.
And the ale, the barrel of ale, is a small barrel of ale. Is that what you're looking for, or a big barrel?
Like a Florin-sized barrel of ale that maybe we can tap into. He asked for ale.
It's about 200 gold
Oh fuck.
for a barrel of ale. It's a fucking barrel of ale.
6-pack.
You can get a smaller barrel.
What's how much is a smaller barrel?
10% the size for 20 gold.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Done.
cool. So it's like a kind of mini pin keg,
Yeah.
but not like an actual barrel.
No,
it's
like
You said a Florin-sized barrel. I thought you'd done the size of a man.
4 Florin.
Oh, my body weight in beer.
You just made a bit of money off some flogging some wood, and you're already.
Hey, I'm not. This is all my money.
True.
So you know when you go into like a bottle shop and they've
It's not
got
20, you said.
an all manner of really weird stuff you've never heard of, and you end up buying almost like one of everything.
Oh no.
Could I get like 5 various cool sounding bottles? We don't have to go through all of it.
Sure. They'll all be as fine wines. They'll all be about 10.
Oh no, beer.
Oh, okay, beer. Right.
So can I get maybe one that's really fruity, one that's maybe I don't know, quite spiced, maybe like a stout with some spices in there. I don't know.
He only has the smallest amount of ale he sells is by the small barrel.
Oh no, it was only bottles.
I mean, he could take you through. So how many did you want? Around 5.
I don't know, just yeah.
So they're 20 gold.
Actually, I'll get one for everyone.
A barrel per person.
No, not barrel. You said there's
Oh
like
my
some
God.
bottles. You said that you were going to show me some bottles
Of wine.
Ale.
ale
Oh,
of various beers.
Like, you know when you go to Sainsbury's?
Yeah, this isn't Sainsbury's. Yeah, no, he has. He has
If
some
this
bottles.
isn't okay, if
He
it's
has some
not, I could
bottles.
just go to another one.
It's a bit like put it this way, it's a bit like a wholesaler, but like really nice.
Oh, okay.
But if you talk to the guy, he's happy to do a deal. But he would say to like fill up a little crate, I guess, of bottles.
I can do that.
Cool. So that's what the deal would be. So let's say it'll probably be similar cost as a barrel, so 20 gold for the crate.
Cool.
And you get a selection of a mix of Delnori beers, which he says they're from Sker Street. So he said North Street, and Irid sort of steps in. So Sker Street is the most western part of the city. It's out back into the bay, and it's as if you were coming through the sea gate and going straight. There are 3 massive crags in the cliff, and there are 3 streets: North Street, East Street, and South Street. And North Street was where some of the wine was from, and he says that some of them, these beers are from there as well. There's some breweries down there. Gives you a selection of those. Some of them very dark, very like oat beers, and then some of them that are much more ales that have been blended with fruit and pulp and that kind of stuff. But I won't go. There's a
that's
selection.
fine.
There's a nice selection
So
of fine
cool,
beers.
like craft beer labels.
They don't have any labels. They've just got they've got like chalk writing on them. That's how craft.
How much
they
should
are.
I say?
No.
Like how many?
20 gold. Oh, for how many?
Yeah.
4 by 20.
20. Nice.
You got 20 beers.
That's 20 beers.
A gold per beer is quite expensive.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
they're craft beers.
They are craft beers.
Yeah.
I give
You've
one
got to craft beer. This is the most Mike thing that we've done yet.
give one of the bottles of wine to Zeal and be like, can you send that to his lordship, please?
Have we? We haven't done this yet, have we?
What?
Has he like bumped stuff back and forth?
I think he's done it.
Has he? I like it. There's not really
Because he's
anything,
a familiar, so he can still bounce back to where he's from. I'm just giving him a thing to take.
Yeah, I like it. Also, it's kind of.
And he's passed messages.
It's only stuff that he can carry, and he's tiny. So
Yeah.
he's like,
What?
he takes the bowl, and
Yeah, I was gonna give him
Listen to
two,
this.
and then I was like, no. And I'm like, that's not for you.
that's the point. Whether it got to him or not.
I didn't say it was for his lordship, but whether or not he knows that.
He thinks he's talking about you. Yeah, he thinks that you're talking about him. No. Cool. Okay.
My backpack is very full now.
yeah.
I can't open it.
Are these glass bottles?
Yes. They
Yeah,
are.
so you
Clang,
yeah.
clang, clang.
You know where I am at all times now.
Okay. So he takes you down some more of these many shambling alleyways, eventually finding your way to a sweet shop, and it is very small, much smaller than. I mean, it's a city, so everything's kind of crammed in. And down in the what he's calling the resident district, or the resident market. It's like a mix of house, townhouse, house with a bit of a garden, and then a house has been converted into a shop. And this one's kind of bolted on the side of another shop, and you immediately smell caramelization in the air, sugars. And as you arrive, it is just called bittersweet caramels. And they have a specialty that Irid told you. They burn caramel in certain. They burn caramel, crunch it up, and add it to things to give a slight burnt, bitter taste to some of their candies. And inside is a halfling, and he has a surprisingly miserable expression. And he's got like
How can anyone be miserable in a sweet shop?
gummed up apron covered in like crispy bits of candy and fudge. What do you do? And this is a tiny little place. Probably you and one other could fit in. The rest of you just be at the door, like.
Staring through the window.
Yeah.
I'll grab
Doing your
Irid,
lip reading shit.
while I'm outside. Once this is done.
Or you're grabbing Irid.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I'm gonna squeeze in behind you.
Okay. Yeah. You like knock a shelf.
Are you okay?
Graffiti.
We'll be fine.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I thought you looked a little bit miserable.
Oh, that's just. Thank you for that.
Straight off the bat.
Anyway, how can I help you?
Your shop is amazing. I love the smells and
Thank you.
the name's clever. And
Yes. Yes. No, we've got great pride in what we do, but it's been a long few weeks. It's just
what's happened?
several break-ins.
Who would do such a Maya? This is. I know. Sorry, I wasn't insinuating you were, on the ship. Of course, it couldn't have been you. But who would steal and break into a sweet shop?
Dickhead.
The joy.
I know.
Who would take the joy, Amaya?
I honestly couldn't tell you, Eugene. I am as shocked as you are.
It's something I've been struggling with, actually. Anyway,
Should we talk about it?
not really.
Okay.
What would you like to buy? We got fudge. We got some.
Yes.
We got fudge. Okay. Take some out. It's like a big slab. Starts cutting bits off.
What else have we got?
He takes you through a load. He opens up a box. There's like paper-lined boxes, very different to what you're used to and where you're doing it. Everything's very much like what's the word? It's like sugar, basically. He's not adding any flavors other than variations on caramel. So
Should we get a bit of everything?
Yes, you took the words right
Can
out of my mouth.
Can we get a bit of everything, please?
okay. And he like basically gives you the box of like probably 50 candies in there, puts a bag on top. Oh, this is all right. And he's like,
Oh no, it looks amazing. You're very good at your craft.
Thank
Do
you.
you make them all yourself? Yes.
oh yes, just me.
Have you tried any of these yet, Eugene?
Puts the box
Yeah,
down, puts the little bag.
Are you
fudge.
okay if I try a bit now?
Oh yes. And he goes, wait, leave that. And he goes over and he takes a little tray and gives you some. And it's like a chocolate brown toffee.
What does it taste
A
like?
hard,
Is it
it's
nice?
a hard toffee. Yes, it's lovely, and it is bitter on the outside. It's on the edge of burnt. Like this guy's really clever because he's almost burnt it, but it just adds this bitterness. And as it's getting too much, it's filled with chocolate on the inside.
Well, it's a party in my mouth and everyone's invited. This is.
You have not heard that one. Yeah.
Oh, it was quite common. Never mind. Anyway, would you like to try one of the sweets I made?
Oh, of course. It's I mean, are you a sweet maker?
Yes.
Okay, because I got to be worried then. So normally, usually it's the other way around, but
Don't usually take sweets from strangers, is that what you're saying?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I am a respected establishment.
Actually, if a stranger offered me a sweet, I think it'd be quite a nice icebreaker.
Eugene, you're very, very sweet sometimes.
Oh, thank you.
A bit too
Okay.
Right, add that to the list. Make sure
what do you
doesn't
give
get
him?
kidnapped.
So I give him a little sweet whistle.
Yeah.
That, when blowed, plays some sort of bard tune that's
Okay.
whatever. If there's a popular song that Eugene's used to.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a
so it actually
rendition
plays
of-
the song.
Yeah, notes, not
like a little-
different instruments, but just one inch, the
Yeah,
actual
yeah, okay.
whistle, but it has,
And
plays
what does it
notes.
taste of?
It tastes of. It's still sweet, but it has lingering aftertones of being in a pub.
Okay. Cool. It's like a beer sweet.
Kind of,
The,
but probably more sweeter, so probably more honeyed wine, and maybe there's a slight charred sort of maybe a fiery sort of aroma coming from it.
So he
Sounds so cool.
he takes it first and just starts licking it. He does not know that he needs to blow on it.
Oh, if you blow into it like a whistle.
Oh, okay. And he blows, and it's like a brief melody, right?
It's very, very brief.
Sings this brief melody like a flute, and he's like, "That's amazing!" And he starts I don't want to. Oh, I feel bad eating it now. He's
I
like,
know sweets are there to be enjoyed.
and he seems genuinely impressed. Wow, I've never had anything like that. Where did you train?
Oh, with my family.
Oh, whereabouts is that? I'd love to. Have you got a store?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a shame.
We used to, but just it's unfortunately closed now.
Ah, I'm sad to hear that.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, it was in Baraxis. I'm from the Empire, so
Oh, that's quite far away.
yeah. But no, I'm glad you like it. That was one of my sister's recipes actually.
Oh, well, she's very talented. You know what? Take the fudge for free. Just
Oh, really?
yes, absolutely. 1 gold for the box.
Is that it?
Yes.
Jeez.
Oh, thank you.
Why didn't I
I'm
still
gonna
have
hand
money in the bank?
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't know
gonna hand
why.
him 2 gold.
Oh no, I couldn't. No,
Oh, it's done now.
thank you.
Yeah,
That's very
I owe
kind.
him 2 gold as well.
Thank you. That's,
We've
wow,
given him 4 times the
Yeah,
money.
I know.
Well,
Hopefully this will help with,
And if there's anything we can do, we're going to be here a while, and I'm not particularly good with these sort of things, but my friends are very good at solving mysteries and...
If there's anyone you need us to rough up, just give us a shout with the whistle.
thank you very much. That's nice.
Thank you for making delicious sweets.
Should have got Kaz to
take-
make us business cards.
You should have looked at Right, hang on. I'll get my notebook out. Alright, Kaz, can we have some business cards, please? Thank you.
Well, it's and he goes to shake your hand. He's like, "My name's Terence.
I'm Eugene Ballantyne. Nice to meet you, Terence.
Nice to meet you. Well, I hope to see you all soon. You're welcome anytime.
See you soon, Terence.
Ta-ra!"
Ta-ra!
That's it. And he closes the.
I give
closes the
everybody,
door
as soon as I
behind
come out, I just give everybody sweets.
Sweets.
Delicious.
They are very good.
Delicious.
Okay. So,
Do you want to
Aura,
see some more?
you are speaking to Irid, who is waiting outside, looking around the street.
So we'd heard this was sort of, it had pirate connections, this town. I was just wondering, do you know any ghost stories or, any tales of treasure from pirates and that?
Oh, I see you like treasure stories. Well, I fucking changed it again. Oh my god, it's so difficult.
Terence just sticks his head out. Oh, I do know. Do you want us to talk amongst ourselves for a minute while you find the voice?
That's all right.
Fin Dwarf.
No stories of treasure, but there are tales associated with things. Yes, first of all, there are pirates. Yes, and if you're unlucky enough to meet them, just stay away from certain areas in Chasm Town. You'll probably be okay.
Where we need to go to Chasm Town.
Where specifically in Chasm Town to avoid?
Well, most of it, to be honest, but I would say specifically around Rippers. A tavern, but they tend to keep themselves to themselves a lot of the time. They trade, they stay on the boats, sometimes they come off board, wreak all sorts of chaos.
Does pirates extend to criminality, or is it just pirates?
Oh no, just pirates. There are criminals, obviously, as with every city, and the Deus Ward deals with that.
As in that's who deals with them, or that's where they live? Just because I want to make sure we stay aware.
The Deus Ward is the district on the plateau you might have seen above.
That's where they live.
Above the plaza. It's reserved for nobility, rich merchants, and it is where the both of the courts are.
Both? As in, like, the legal?
Yes. So you have the Eye of the Emperor, which is the sort of mundane judicial process, and then you have the Eye of Gods, or the Eye of God, which is the divine one. Anyway, the worst of all criminals in the city will end up hanging by the cages that you might see, but you can point them out. But in terms of tales, it is said that there was once an older city, that there are things buried, but whatever breakage that happened to crack open this part of the cliff destroyed it completely, and Delnori was built atop it. But the only thing I can say about pirates is to steer clear.
That sounds like it might be another same shit, different whole story.
Well, that's a horrible expression.
It's a late friend of ours.
Yep. Now I remember who that was. Tell me a minute.
So he takes you through some of the winding streets of the residential markets.
Has there been any graffiti or anything on the way through?
Not down here. And in the markets I would say it is going to be difficult to like leave anything. It almost looks like it's like they're removed every day. People turn up new days. The residential district, it actually looks quite nice around here. So this is going to be more like upmarket areas.
Just check it in case you forgot that I
No.
asked about it.
All good. And he takes you around the outside, so he kind of the square of the Plaza district in the middle, to the north of it being the maze markets. He takes you around the outside, and you pass at a distance the area he points at, which would go to the left of the plateau, which is the temple district, and you can see some of the spires in there. It's quite quiet, and then he moves through behind the maze market, so you're still within those streets, and you look up and there's like 100 foot of cliff, and at the very top you can see some cages swinging, and he takes you through the streets at the base of it. There's one lift that's drawn by massive Shire horses, and it gets rickety up to the top of the Deus Ward, which is the area on the top of this plateau. It's probably a mile long, this plateau, and you can't see how deeply it extends. But you can see down from here, it has these cream and grey stone blocks. It looks very clean, very well made, the walls on even the outside, this side that you can see. He takes you along about a mile, and you end up on your left looking up a ramp, which effectively is a cobbled ramp that goes up towards the entrance of the Deus Ward. And he takes you to the base of that, and he's like, would you like to go up and see it?
Yeah. Sure.
As you're walking, he says, Mostly, you won't have to deal with anything up here unless you have specific permission, of course. But within the Deus Ward, there are the guilds, there are the judiciaries, and the noble houses, and their estates, both minor and major. And he takes you straight to the top of this cobbled street. As you move up, people start looking a little bit more wealthy. You see people moving with purpose, and a few here and there on horses.
Who's the Duke here?
That would be Crown Duke Leah Talisit.
Oh.
Crown.
Oh yes, the Duke of Delnori is one of the members of the Crown Table. There are a few dukes here. We have mainly his Duke his Duke Talisit, but he is also often accompanied by Heimriel, the family of the House Heimriel, the Duke of Belridge actually, which is a nearby town. His family actually, the Talisit family, they his children actually have quite a lot of influence over whiskey and winemakers. And as he's talking about it, you guys make your way up to the front of the Deus Ward. And before you are basically it's like a giant wall of this cream and grey stone. There are two towers of cream stone, and out from them are tightly forged iron railings, basically. And in between these two posts is a gate itself, which is cast iron, but it's been polished to show the precise hammering of its making. It's very, very beautifully made. There is a sign in Elvish and in Common that says "Caution, magic deadening." And the gate itself is open ajar. There are guards. They're noble guards of a house colours that you don't recognise. So they look completely different to the Empire Constabulary that were at the docks. And these guys are wearing burgundy coats, jackets, and bronze. And they've got knee-high leather boots and sabres. They look very much like,
like a Maya.
Yeah, a little bit actually. But they've got these massive helmets on that have these glorious feathers coming off the top, and on the front is an ornate bronze bear that's clutching an anchor. And you're basically told kind of in hushed tones by Irid that they are Crown Duke Lear Talisit's house guard. And there's basically the road kind of extends around. There's a small area of officials, and then you literally just dead end to the gate into the Deus Ward. I assume that none of you have written permission to enter the Deus Ward.
No, is that a thing you need?
Yes, I do not, so I won't be able to follow you in.
Ilram's grip. Or is that
We don't need
just...
to go in there
I
yet.
don't need to.
No.
But it's good to have reference that we've got it if we want to go in there in the future.
Very well. But you guys can kind of see, through the gate that there are a single main street, beautiful open roadway, polished swept cobbles, the bricked in flower beds, hanging baskets, but the stone buildings themselves are clean, geometric shapes cut from the grey and cream stone. And at the very end you can see a many-tiered building that looks almost like a small palace. Twisting stone steeples, and it's flying white flags with a pink rose in the centre.
Pretty.
And he then takes you back down. The only real place to go is to take you to the edge of each skewer street, and then to Chasm Town.
You don't want to go to Chasm Town.
I will of course attend. I'm here, paid for. He takes you there. I won't labour it. He as Skewer Street is that I described to you, it's 3 streets that have into the rock from
fractures that narrow as you go further in. There's the north one, there's the east street, and then there's South Street. They're a mix of, it's a medley of people. Anyone from merchants through to poor people who are like plying their craft and just have a home down there. And there are taverns all over the place. And I forgot to say actually, so there's a couple of inns in the Plaza. There's a couple of inns in I can give you a list. So there's a couple in Plaza. There's one called the Dayton Arms. There's one called the Night Mountain. There is one that he mentioned before in Chasm Town called Ripper's Beer House. There's one in Skur Street. One that I think it's down East Street called the Old Diver. And there is obviously one in the Deus Ward as well, a massive one. So, yes, he takes you through past Skur Street, through Chasm Town, and Chasm Town itself is literally just like a vertical section of the city, I think, that you probably remember from before. It's made up of bits of ships that have been strung up. There's like walkways of rope bridges. It is a mess of tiers and concourses, and yes. So, I will call it a day with Irid there. So he.
Well, wait. But before he goes, does he know of anywhere that might need like work? Might have work for us?
Of course, I would suggest speaking to the wonderful owners of the taverns. Many of them will have jobs for people who, if you're clear.
Can I grab the tavern name list again?
Yes, the tavern list
Is there a star system?
What, better jobs and shit jobs?
No, better taverns.
Yeah,
and
like-
shit taverns?
Oh,
Start with the best and go to the
Like,
And
rosettes.
pricing as well, like pricing per night would also
Yeah.
be really fucking useful.
Basically, we like dndbooking.com.
TripAdvisor.
so okay.
Adventure Advisor.
Well, obviously, without going to the Deus Ward, that leaves you with, I would suggest, the Dayton Arms or the Night Mountain in the Plaza are of similar premium quality.
Do you know how much it is a night there?
Off the top of my head, no, I'm afraid not. But you're looking at nothing too overpriced. They do good business there.
Are you sponsored by them?
I wish I was sponsored. I have to work hard for my coin.
Yeah, you do.
Chasm Town, which I would avoid. Ripper's Beer House. They are a tavern as well. Sorry, they are an inn as much as a beer house. Whether or not you'll get any sleep there is another matter. And Skur Street, the Old Diver, is a more humble affair, but solid is what I would say.
I mean, part of me wants to go to Rippers.
I'm not going to lie. I'm actually lining for Chasm Town right now.
I want to stay at the Dayton Arms.
I mean, Eugene wants to stay the day to the
So you've got the Dayton Arms and the Night Mountain in the Plaza, Ripper's Beer House, or the Old Diver. And do you guys have any more questions for Irid?
They see a man who looks like a scale.
Is there like a library or something?
Yes, that would be within the Archivist Guild. Actually, the Archivist Guild here is colloquially known as the University, as it is a collection of the library, lettery, and the Archivists itself. In fact, the list of the guilds in the Deus Ward are the Alchemists, the Delnori University, as I said, the Artificers, the Whispered Word, the Merchants, the Paperies, the Physicians, and the Spicers. And those are somewhat accessible. They sometimes have a reception in the Plaza, but you'll have to find them, I'm afraid. So, it's been a pleasure. Yes, he looks at you.
4 gold.
4.
He took one of Amaya's wraps.
I did give it to him. And he's probably got food poisoning.
I see.
No, it's fine. I'll
Has he
give him
been
the
shitting
full.
himself as he's been walking?
Like do that for a minute, see what he does, and then I just flick in the last
Yeah, okay.
one.
He seemed pissed.
Hey, we give you a lot of food.
I mean, we gave him a rat and he's probably shit himself on the way.
It's very true.
He's doing that with him. To be fair, I didn't roll con.
Oh.
He rolled 19.
So we're up to
He's
nine.
It
used,
would've been
he's used to
funny.
the food.
Yeah, that would have changed the tour.
And here are the public bathrooms.
We're gonna wait here for 3 hours.
Do rats need to be served well done, or can they be a little bit pink in the middle?
Well, my preference is always on the juicy side rather than the dry. It's got horrible teeth.
That doesn't make anything any better.
There's something creepy about a skinny dwarf.
It's just wrong.
Yeah,
Has he got a
Yeah, I
beard?
don't like
he
it.
does have a beard, very ragged.
Oh, do you look underfed?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's skinny.
I give him my apple.
We've already given him a jar of pickles.
He's got a load of
Plenty
that.
of things.
He's
Take the apple though.
He better be fat next time we see him.
Takes the apple, bites into it.
Thanks for the
Juice
tour.
sprays on your face a little bit. You know, when you're like a little bit too close to someone biting into it.
Press to loosen that.
Okay.
Can't do that. Someone else will have to.
He leaves you
I
at
can
the
clean you off.
he leaves you at the foot of Chasm Town. The only way back across, by the way, because the bay is this big open space, circular bay. You are currently like, if you look out into it, the other side of it is the Plaza. So you're like the other side of the bay. So the only way to get back would be to walk all the way around. There are some bridges at Sker Street because only small vessels go under there. So you can just walk across the base of North, East and South Street and then you're back into the Plaza. But it's probably a 20-minute walk. And so you're like standing at the Chasm Town.
There's no like ferry taxis that carry you across the bay.
There,
You have to go all the
you
way
could
around.
look for them because the balustrades on Chasm Town are haphazard and there are barely any around, so you could just walk off, splash into the bay. You're quite high up though, but if you were looking, you reckon you could flag someone down.
Just really quickly for my understanding, because I didn't quite get it. So, the equivalent of Dustmere, there is a whole criminal district where we live. There is no equivalent of that here.
Absolutely not.
Right, okay.
Like, so in Dustmere, and this is a good question because like this would be weird for you guys because you've lived in Dustmere your whole lives. Criminal society is absolutely illegal, so they're like
Makes it more fun.
so like yeah, surprisingly because of the Concord in Dustmere that was written by the Empire and the Syndicate. That afforded them basically the ability to just work in the open, even though they sort of have these obvious fronts in some places. Whereas the criminality here, you haven't seen any evidence of it like in your face yet.
So I've not seen any like thieves' cant while we've been going around.
Not yet. With an 11, I think if you wanted to have a real
I would have been
investigation
like
someday-
properly looking when
Yeah?
we start.
Okay, I would say then roll for retrospectively. As you were approaching Chasm Town,
Also, if I know that's where the pirates are, I would have probably been looking harder there anyway.
cool. So let's say you're at South Street, which is the closest obscure street. What was that, sorry?
I was offering like her hand. You'll probably see she's looking out for stuff like that.
Sure.
Sorry.
Roll with advantage for your perception check on a criminality.
Just perception. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. It's the difference between the first one.
Ooh.
Was it bad or good?
We don't talk about two nat ones.
Oh no way! Oh man, yeah.
Ow.
Your eyes are drawn to Chasm Town, and you don't see anything. There's no, beside kind of petty crime that is standard for any city of kids particularly in the maze market, cutting purses. You haven't seen anything that resembles organised crime, and it is weird. It seems like this place is for fucking nerds. These goody two-shoes people.
Fucking dweebs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so you're at the base of Chasm Town. What are you guys doing?
Let's go. Right?
Time for
Should we go in?
some food.
Go
I
into
think-
Chasm Town.
I thought that's what we wanted to do. Okay,
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Wait,
point.
so did we just get walked to Chasm Town and then he
then
turned
to
around and
Boston.
left and we're going, okay, yeah, we go too.
Well, it depends because we could stay in Sker Street in the diver. What's
The
it
old
called?
diver.
The old diver, because that is like here and it's
Yeah.
close to Chasm Town.
Yeah,
Or do you want to
it's
stay in
really-
the, what was it,
But you want to stay in
I don't
the.
mind. If it's serviceable.
Yeah, like if we walk in and it's a shell, then we'll fuck off. But if it's alright,
Is on the way back
Is
to.
It is on the way back, unless you were to seek a ferry out or something. then
Should we
yes, it is.
just poke our head in and see what it looks like?
if it's like as good as the coal and petal.
My background for some modest lifestyle.
Aristocratic lifestyle.
It's down as solid.
You guys had a real bad time in Dustmere. The coal and petal
I
was
didn't.
alright. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Great time.
Literally just had a house. Okay.
House for
I
2
wonder what
weeks
the
is
rent
great.
is around here.
So we'll go to the last diver, what it's called.
The old diver.
The old diver.
And
Okay.
I wonder if there's any treasure at the bottom of the bay.
Oh no.
Do you want to jump in?
On you go.
It just walks over and just drops in.
Okay. So you guys make your way to the old diver, which, as you were directed, is. As you can tell, my notes are nowhere near as good as they were when we were in Dustmere because I had fucking a year to perfect them.
East Street.
Maybe you should have used some of that time to flesh out some other places.
So it is actually the furthest street. So it's South Street, but oh no, that's the closest. Sorry, no, it's not. It's the furthest. My bad. You're on your way back to Plaza anyway. So you're at
I thought it was on
Town.
East Street.
You loop round the marina, and you pass the left street, which is North Street. Then the middle one, which is East Street, and then the closest one to the plaza is South Street. You go down there. It is like really overbearing and kind of terrifying cliff walls. Some areas are like fenced off where bits have fallen and destroyed a house. And you move along down the boardwalk, and eventually you find your way to a building that looks like a wooden tower with it's got black tiled roof, overgrown hedges, sprouting green from brown, very unkempt. But it looks homely. There's smoke coming from the chimney, and it looks like a solid Isildian style pub.
Freya, is this okay?
Looks alright. I guess.
Common. Okay.
Be afraid to run up to the date and ask.
Another pub with the name Arms in it.
Yeah.
There's a good feeling about it, like it's hugging you.
You get a good Sunday lunch, I bet, from the.
Yeah.
So you guys walk in, and it actually has quite a warm vibe to it, and it is warm inside as well. There's a giant Versailles rug on the floor, which is like a coarsely weaved rug that takes up the main area. There are cushioned chairs that looked a bit worn, but they look comfortable around circular tables. There is a small bar off to the left side of the open space. Everything's covered in wooden panelling that was probably once well polished, but it's getting a little dated. And behind the bar is a very lanky orc, and she's wearing leather armor. Looks a little bit nicked, a little bit torn in places. Her hair is very short, and she's got very sharp features. And she's just kind of casting an eye around. There's actually families in here, so you see a couple of children with parents eating, and she looks over at you. And as you all enter, there's a kind of silence that sweeps over the place. And some of the families look over at you, and they look down at their meals, start eating.
You look intimidating.
Yeah.
Oh,
Even
Got
me.
lots of swords.
You said families. Do we recognise any of the, say,
Oh, right.
fathers?
I won't make you roll for it. It's not a big place. You don't see a Skeeler's family in here. And the orc, that lady, walks over to you. She looks around. She sort of ushers you over to the fireplace where there's no one sitting. See all these families in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're always welcome as them. But they're under my roof, you hear.
What are you
What are
talking
you trying
about?
to insinuate?
You lot coming in here looking like the way you do. I mean, look at her. Points at Amaya. Look at her. Points at Sentinel. Look at him. Sorry, them.
I'm just eating sweets.
Yeah, he doesn't cast an eye over Eugene. Look.
What do you mean, look up? Are we...
Just perfectly respectable adventurers looking for a place to stay.
And you can understand that might be a little intimidating to some families.
Surely they'll
You're
be
as welcome as
safer.
they are. But I just want to say, I take time to trust people.
Shall I offer them some sweets?
Maybe don't. Everyone's like, oh god.
I'm just a friendly stranger.
He's absolutely harmless. He's just.
Or
he
just
has a
puts his
very-
hand over Eugene's mouth.
He just has a very specific set of skills, and he does like to share his sweets with people. But that's just because that's Eugene.
It doesn't
How
sound
can-
as creepy as
It's
it
not. They're really good.
What's this job?
How can we show you? Because first of all, we are a family group. Our brother sister. If we're honest with ourselves, we did half destroy that last one.
Wasn't our fault.
This might help gain some trust. Do you happen to know of a Mr. Eskiel Drummond?
I'm afraid I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, there goes my attempt at that. We're very nice people.
How can we earn your trust enough to not make you freak out that we're going to ask for a series of rooms in your establishment?
I can cook for you.
She can. She's very talented.
First of all, sit down. We've got a pheasant stew and some coffee. She puts.
That sounds much better than Brad.
Coffee at this late, Jesus.
Is it like lumpy slut?
Lumpy.
You got him.
Oh my fucking god.
That is the delicacy of the region, yes.
Oh my god. One of the kids looks at Aura like, what the fuck? Dad, is that man over here?
Yogurt.
Don't offer the child yogurt.
Hello, son. I need my yogurt.
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna just say that she doesn't hear that.
Oh, she does.
Spoil sport.
She says,
Look, we come in with a cat and a squirrel. How harmful can we be?
yeah, true. She puts the towel over her shoulder and walks over to, points at some of the tables, walks over to the bar. Sarah's gone.
It was the towel after the lumpy
Oh god.
I would offer you a tissue, but earlier I pulled this tea bag.
I saw that. I was like, got a tea bag on the table.
She said,
Oh, content
All I
sometimes
can
breaks
say is
itself.
sorry to our listeners.
Hey, this is some premium Christmas content.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Jeez.
can't even tell what type.
Give it a sniff.
No, I have. I thought it was mint, but I can't smell it. I think it's chamomile.
I'll see it.
Okay.
Eugene and his nose. I'm not sure actually.
So she points you over to a table. She walks over to the bar.
Tea bag.
She yells over. Oh, we've also. So she said pheasant stew. She says pheasant stew with
Coffee.
with coffee and cake, and she says there's also a meatball and
Meatball.
not a meat. There's a meatball like bun
Yeah.
and pineberry tart.
Ooh.
What's the kids' menu for Moxie?
Is there a vegetarian option?
Chips.
Well, I can give you the. I've got cake and tart. I'm afraid.
Dessert. Dessert for dinner.
So
Not
you
before
guys,
you have your apple. Don't want you getting full on tart.
Jeez.
Can I have the meatball sandwich sub
Sub.
thing?
Meatball sub.
Can I have the meatball sub and the pine tart, please?
Of course, yeah.
Thank you.
Everything's it's a 5 silver for a main and the and dessert.
Do you want me to put it on our ill-gotten gains?
Yeah.
You mean our perfectly legitimate business funds?
So it's basically
No, nothing. Actually, I have lots of beers on my person. Does this place offer a corkage fee? I know it's usually for wine, but could I do that with some beer?
No, you can drink your own beers, but just don't make a habit of it.
I do have quite a few on my person, but don't worry. I'll also purchase. Do you have any mead?
No, we don't. We've got ale, unfortunately.
Why don't we do one beer to start us off from the crate,
Bag o' beer.
bag of beer, and then we'll have like a delicious glass of wine afterwards or a whiskey. So we'll do one drink and then the rest of the drink, and we'll do that for a few nights to get
sounds
through
very
it all. That's
agreeable.
very reasonable.
You know, you all look a lot more intimidating than you sound.
Thank you.
Just so you're aware. I don't know if that's an aura you're trying to...
Oh, we're not trying to do anything intentionally.
Because you look like you've... I don't even know, but
You have baths here, right?
we do. We have one.
Do they come with soap?
Yes.
Oh, funny story about that, but never mind.
Hey, if you need us roughing up some people who are destroying your establishment, then we'll get all horrible and nasty. But what benefit do we have of threatening you or being gross to the people in here? We want a place to sleep. You need people roughing up, then we'll get nasty.
But right now, I just want to try your meatballs.
All right.
I'll have a pheasant slurpee.
I wanted a pheasant stew and now I can't.
No, I'm the same. I'm just like...
I can't eat it.
She says to Sentinel go, because that was good. She says, she seems to kind of disarm, her attitude a little bit. Looking for work, but that's interesting. Food first, maybe a couple of drinks, and I need to go and reassure some people that you're not a bunch of...
Do they want to play with the squirrel? Do the small children want to play with the squirrel? That makes
That
me feel
is a
better.
very odd-looking creature.
Isn't he cute?
Yeah.
Drunk, perhaps?
That's so He's just absolutely stoned out his board. Okay, so I think with
This
that,
might be my favourite section ever.
with that, we will probably end today's session,
We all need a lie down.
and we will start to the next session with a nice meal.
Wait, do you want me to pay for this meal out of the...
It's 5 silver each, or and Clayton will pay for himself.
So that's how many
yes.
gold? 3 gold.
3 gold.
And then we'll everyone pay for their own drinks.
Yeah, that's easy.
You get a drink with the meal.
Oh, you do?
What is this meal
like
deal,
spoons.
please?
What a meal deal!
This does sound like a spoon.
We're up to 92 gold, friend.
You can get either a coffee or an ale.
Is it like a Frankie and Benny's?
It's just a
Oh,
local
okay.
family.
Surcharge.
Hey, it's my
Can I go from
birthday.
ale to wine? If I pay a surcharge, can I upgrade to wine from ale?
Yeah,
Curly
you
fries.
can negotiate that. Maybe a silver.
Did you know it's Amaya's birthday today?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Is there some sort of happy birthday song that you do with the food?
Amaya's going bright red at this point because even though it's not her birthday, she hates this.
We'll sort something out. We'll do it for the kids, so.
Oh, mine would love that.
So that meal, you tuck into some lumpy slurp
Happy birthday, happy birthday.
and some lumpy slurp pheasant, some meatball subs, some lovely. You have a pineberry tart. You saw someone cooking these. They're like big pine cones, but they have the consistency of like a sponge, and that is in a tart. And there's also a kind of plain Victoria sponge cake with the other option. It's all very nice. It's rustic, very Jamie Oliver.
Ew. We don't stand Jamie Oliver.
That did not get a good reaction.
Jamie Oliver is a bad man.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Take it back.
I'll tell you in the break.
And yeah, towards the end of the meal, in the tart, like next to it, you've just got a candle in a holder, like a big like nightlight candle, which is like puts it down. She just leaves it.
Thanks very much. Anyone want to blow out my candle?
But yeah, you see it. And we'll leave today's session now, I think, guys.
So we can start on the happy birthday next.
Thanks for joining us. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts.